All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday, June 15th. I can't believe June's already halfway over. The year's already halfway over. We're closer to 2027 than we are 2026, so that's crazy. Thank you guys all for hopping on today. My name is Adam Peterson. We do these calls every 2 weeks, so make sure you guys are hopping on to make you cash money. That's basically it, right? We're here to make you guys all that cash money. That's the goal of every single call, and that's what we're going to try to do today. And today's call is important because it's going to be going over the brand compliance and mystery shops, and those are directly tied to your guys' income. So with that said, let me share my screen and make sure you guys can hear me okay. Can everyone hear me and can you see my screen? Let me share now.
We've got your voice and now we've got your screen.
All right, perfect. All right, guys. So when it comes to the mystery shops and brand compliance, I have the answer guide for you guys that we're going to cover today, right? If you need a copy of this deck, just let us know. I can email it to you. Your DCI account managers can email this to you as well. But it has basically everything that the boost reps are going to have when they walk into your store. And it's even got exactly what they're doing. I mean, you guys can use what I'm giving you today, print out a copy, and do your own store audits, because this is exactly what the people on Boost are going to be using for you guys. I want to make sure you get all the money for your stores. But first, before I get into all that, I want to go over briefly some quick inventory updates with you guys. So we have that 17E that launched out there. Remember that 2 months prepayment is required. Now, great news. I heard it's supposed to be around, if not today, tomorrow. By tomorrow, you should see the functionality in ePay when you're doing your activations where you no longer will have to go under the value added services tab to select 2 months, but you're actually going to be able to select the 2 months in the rate plan thing. So those changes are coming to you guys, I believe, as soon as tomorrow. So great news there. So hopefully we have no more misses. But yeah, that 17E price drop to $199.99 on an upgrade. A great phone to use for your smile dial calls if your customers are eligible. Only $99.99 on a port, and that phone is selling really, really well. If you guys do not have a lot of the 17Es in your inventory, definitely advise you to place that order today. iPhone 16e promo also still going on. The Google Pixel 10 is going to end of life soon. The Pixel 10a and 10 Pro are still available. And the Panini restock. If you guys are doing that FIFA stuff, those stickers are out there, and there's a best practice I actually heard this morning where dealers are selling them in bundles. We had a dealer who's basically buying hundreds of these, and he's offering them to customers, basically doubling the price and saying, hey, get 50 packs for X amount of dollars, right? So just wanted to share that tip with you guys. If you don't want to sell them pack by pack, sell it as a bundle and do like Panini FIFA bundle, double your price, and keep ordering these up. They're going fast. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys on some quick inventory updates. Last piece before I get into this week's call, I did want to talk about these phones that are available for pre-order right now, and they are expected to go live this week. And this is a really, really great low-cost option to jack up your guys' BYO numbers, because these will count as BYO for Boost. These phones right here. So if you want a Vice Flip 4G for you guys who need a flip phone, the Ranger 4G, which actually looks pretty cool. It looks like an old Nextel phone from back in the day. There's the N67 and the G67. These are all very low priced phones, right? If you look at the retailer cost, 35 bucks for the flip phone, 30 for the kind of candy bar style. It looks like an old Nextel i700 phone. You got the 6.8-inch screen for only $60, and then you have another 6.8-inch screen phone for only $89. So very low cost, great options. If you guys are struggling with BYOD and you need to increase your BYOD numbers, put your pre-orders in now. They will be fulfilled this week for those devices. All right, any questions on that before I jump into the meat and potatoes of this week's call?
So I don't know, what kind of deal can you give me for the Pro Max 17 and the Razor?
Tammy, I think you might need to go on
Razor, we
mute
definitely
there.
have a great deal on that.
Thank you. All right, so let's jump back into it here. If there's no more questions, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to stop me at any time. Okay, when we get into brand compliance and the road to 100%, the mystery shops that I'm going to give you all the details on in just a second, they're a piece of it, but we need to be 100% compliant across the board. And so if your owners are on this call, if they're not on this call, we're going to be reaching out to them because we've got a deadline quickly approaching by the end of June. So we got 2 weeks to make sure we are at 100%. And if we look at doors across the board right now, we're under 80 as a DCI as a whole, we're under 80%, right? So we got work to do in these next 2 weeks. I need all of your help to get this done. Otherwise, it's a lot of money that you guys are going to be missing out on, which is never what I want to do. I want to make money, never take money, right? So make sure that you guys have the QuickBase accounts set up for your stores. And then the big thing, make sure you have your lease uploaded for your stores. So this is more for your owners, right? But make sure that lease is updated and we have those leases on file. And then the financial piece for you owners on this call, we can help you at DCI. We can help you do the Excel sheet to help answer any questions, but you need to get this financial piece in. There's been a lot of questions in the years past, like why does Boost need my financials? Why do they need this? Why do they need that? You know, and dealers have been very hesitant to give that information. Well, I'm telling you right now, you want to give that information because it funds your promos. It makes sure that what Boost is paying you guys is enough, basically, and make sure that they can run promos for iPhones. If they don't have this, they can't accurately forecast the business, right? So it's really important to have this information for you guys. It's not being used negatively against you, so have no fear about that. It literally is just to help your dealership and help Boost to fully understand their business. So if you need to need help filling those out, or you have, you know, maybe some estimated numbers to put in there, put them in, get them submitted. Boost will look at it. If everything looks okay within 1 to 2 weeks, you'll be good to go. If there's anything that looks way out of line, like if your estimate's way wrong, like there's one section that talks about taxes, and it's talking about the taxes for your landlord, not necessarily the taxes for every single thing that you sell. You know, we can help you with those questions, but make sure those financials are in. That's the key point. That's why I'm saying it. Make sure your leases are in for your store. Make sure your financials are in for your store. Brand standard. That's what we're really going to dig into on this call. That is going to be the location for every single one of you on the front line. When Boost comes in, they're going to have their little questionnaire. I'll go through exactly what they have, and then we'll make sure you guys pass that. And then training. Is all your DNC training complete for all your frontline reps? Is all your Elevate calling complete for frontline reps? Is Elevate being used correctly? Is there no issues for Zulu? Zulu means zero usage or no usage. So they'll make sure you're not pre-activating phones, just having phones sitting there that customers aren't using, right? And then, of course, have Elevate Go, which I know you guys all have on this call. But if you didn't, you have to have that as well. So those are the 9 pieces that we need to get to 100%. And every single one of these pieces is important, because if you're below 90%, you're going to miss out on a lot of money for your store, right? You got to be above 90 is the minimum threshold. And let me show you why I say everything is just as important. So this is that same page, but it breaks down how much weight is going on here. So if we look at the lease and financials, is 12.5%. Hold on, sorry guys, got a cat jumping around here. So the lease and financials is 12.5%. So if you don't have that and you have everything else correct, you're already at 87.5%, right? So you already are missing out on your money. So this is what I'm saying. We got to be perfect on this. We got to hit every single point. So we need to have our lease and financials in, make sure they are good to go. That's 12.5% of the weight for your overall door scorecard. Your brand violations, the brand standard assessment within the past 180 days must be 80% or higher to be considered compliant. And again, that's what we're about to go into in detail. So when they do the audit of your store, if your store gets below an 80, it's a fail. If your store fails, that's 12.5% of the weight. That means you are under 90%. Even if you did everything else right, that would put your store under 90%. You're missing out on that money, right? Trainings have to be 100% complete for all required trainings. That's 25% weight for DNC and Elevate outbound calling. So those are super important to make sure that everyone's done on that. Elevate usage is going to be measured to the DLAR, and reviews all accessory sales. So I want to make sure you're doing your accessory sales in Elevate. That is important. And then Zulu, you can't have more than 5% of your activations with 0 usage or low usage, right? And that one is 5%. So if you had everything right, but Zulu, technically you would pass. But other than that, every single question is above 10%. So if you miss on Lisa Financials, if you miss on brand and violation, if you miss on training, if you miss on Elevate, if you miss on any of those categories and everything else is perfect in your store, you will fail. Okay. Any questions on this slide before I move forward?
Nothing in the chat.
All right, well, let's keep it moving. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the monthly incentive, right? So this is 50 cents. If you're compliant on all this stuff, you get a monthly incentive. It's 50 cents per qualified subscriber that you have, right? So you're looking at an average of $1,200. This is every DCI across the board. Like, what does this money mean? 50 cents sounds like nothing, Adam. If I miss on 50 cents, not a big deal. Well, that's not the case, right? This is an average of $1,200 per door per month. So that's a lot of money. There's your rent money right there, right? There's money to help pay your employees. That's big money for your dealership. You must be compliant, guys. We're going to be driving this home today, tomorrow, the next day, through the end of June until we get you all at 100%. And as you can see here, look, first of all, I want to show off DCI is number one. In case you're wondering, DCI 5 years in a row, number one DDP across the country. So you guys are with the right DDP. But you can see kind of across the board, and this slide is a little old, so numbers are up a little from this, but still a lot of work to do to get everyone to 100%. All right, now let's jump into that audit or the customer experience review. Customer experience review is like putting lipstick on a pig, right? Makes it sound a lot better than saying store audit, right? But that's what it is. It really is a store audit or a customer experience review. And this is where I'm going to give you guys the test, and I'm going to give you guys the answer key, and it's up to you to execute. All right, so let's jump into it. So I'll go through all these questions with you guys. The store, it starts, there's basically 4 or 5 different sections of the audit. The first section is going to be store audit, exterior, and entry. And so you can see here each question, and this is exactly what the people coming in doing your audit are going to do. They're going to go through each of these questions. You can see how they're going to answer them, yes or no. You can see if they have drop-down options. So if for example, let's say, does the exterior signage on the location meet boost standards, right? It's a yes or no question. If they answer no, they would say why. Was the lights not working? Was their ramp angled incorrectly? Did they have a wrong sign? Was it dirty? You know, stuff like that. And then they have help text. So if the person auditing your store wasn't sure how to score you, you know, they can look at the help text. And so if you guys are doing your own audit and you have a question on this, make sure, does your exterior sign light up at night? Is the lighting functional? Is the logo current? Is the logo correct? Is it not broken, cracked, or faded? Make sure there's no bird's nest in the signs, right? And then remove after, if there is, remove after nesting season, right? So the help text is really interesting. That's kind of exactly what it's giving your auditors to look at to score you appropriately. All right, so make sure you have your signage in. You're good to go. Does exterior monument or pylon signage meet boost standards? Yes, nor the other. Is the approved exterior merch displayed in the correct position and visible from the outside? So this is your merch grid. They're going to compare to your merch grid, ensure the posters, cleans, and inserts are in the correct locations, have that right look and feel. A boost store in Chicago should look just like a boost store in Florida, should look just like a boost store in California, just like a boost store in New York. And if you're following the planogram, that will be the case. Is the approved exterior merch displayed in the correct position? We just covered that again. That's merch grid, right? Make sure your merch grid is right. Is exterior store, including windows, clean and clutter-free? So you want to make sure you have no trash or debris present. Make sure your windows are clean. Make sure you dust, man. Some of these windows in your guys' stores haven't been dusted in years. If you can wipe your finger down there and it's covered in dust, break out your dusting rags and let's get that cleaned up. Are store hours posted on the approved roost hours signage correct according to Google for this location? So are your store hours on Google accurate? If they're not, let us know. We can help you with that. Are your store hours posted on your window, on your door? Are they accurate? Do you need updated hours? If you do, let us know. We can get you the replacement. Does this location have a working shopper track device? If a shopper track location will submit, it is not applicable if you are not a shopper track store. But if you are a shopper track store, is that device working? Was there an associate on the sales floor to greet you upon entry? So this is where you guys should be there. There should always be an associate on the sales floor to greet customers. Allow 10 seconds after entry for any associate to properly greet you. 10 seconds or 10 feet from the door. What does that mean? That means if a customer comes in, even if you're busy, your store is slammed. Hey, welcome to Boost. My name is Adam. We'll be with you in just a minute. Just give them that greeting. That's going to qualify. Or if you're not with the customer, you should never be behind your counters. It's a no-fly zone unless you're actually doing an activation. So if you're not doing an activation and the customer comes in, you want to walk around from behind your counter. If you're at a non-bulletproof location, obviously, walk around from behind your counter, greet your customers. Hey, welcome to Boost. My name's Adam. Are you here for our promos? You know, give that greeting and start that great sales experience. All right. Any questions on store audit, exterior and interior section of the review? No questions? All right, let's move on. Interior and manager compliance. So are the fixtures in this locations placed according to the interior space plan in QuickBase? So just make sure your talk tables are in the right area, your benches are in the right area, your seats, the seats that should be at the talk table, those little stools, are those there or are they behind your counters? They should not be behind your counters for you guys to sit on. They should be at that talk table. That's the kind of stuff they're going to be looking for there. Is the location free of any odors that are overwhelming or unpleasant? Make sure there are no overpowering smells. Make sure you guys are showering every day. You're not doing anything illegal in your stores, and they have a professional, right? Is the store interior clean and free of clutter with no additional fixtures or display present, i.e. sales floor, trip hazards, no stacks of accessories, or no stacks of Xfinity boxes? So they're going to be looking for things like, is your store vacuumed? Is your doormats vacuumed? Is the dust and shelves clean? Are the fixtures clean of debris? You don't have paper out there. You don't have anything extra that shouldn't be on your floor, like no flyers promoting some of their local business on there, no trip hazards, no loose power cords, no stack of Xfinity boxes, no low profile office chairs behind the counter. So remember, that should be a no-fly zone. And if you guys have any questions on that, please ask us at any time. Then they'll move on to, is the appropriate flooring clean and in proper condition? So they'll look at it. Do you have the right carpet or tile? Make sure there's no trip hazards. Make sure your floor is clean. Are the walls clean, the correct color, and free from scuff and mark damages? So make sure everything looks good. If the wall can be cleaned, clean it. Make sure that your colors are correct. If you need new paint, put some new paint on there. They do have the paint colors listed for you guys. It's the Boost Plus Orange at Sherwin-Williams and Boost Plus Beige in Sherwin-Williams. Those are unified for all Boost stores across the country. Are the POS stations and fixtures clean and free of handprints and scuff marks and in good condition? In other words, don't have everything on your point of sale counter that you don't, if you don't need it, right? Have what you need on there. If you guys have cheat sheets on there, that's understandable. They're not going to be hard on that, but no clutter, right? Point of sale stations should be clean and free of clutter. They should also be in good condition with no damages, cracks, holes, or lifting material on there as well. And then are all light fixtures, including fluorescent lights, working, right? So are your lights working? If you got lights out in your store, this is when a lot of dealers miss points on, right? Because we got so many lights. There's a lot of times that there's lights that go out and we just aren't even aware. So make sure that you guys are looking at those lights. If they need to be replaced, get them replaced. And you can see here on as well, kind of the points, right? So this interior and manager compliance section, if you look here, you can see 2 points, 2 points, 6 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 2 points. So this is a 21-point section altogether. So all these have points. And again, you have to, when the points are total at the end of the day, you have to be above 80 to pass your audit. So if you miss one here, miss one there, not the end of the world. Obviously, we want you to be at 100%. You can be at 100%. You should be at 100%. But you do have some wiggle room when it comes to this audit. When it comes to the audit, again, you have to be over 80%. When it comes to store compliance in general, you got to be above 90%. All right. So this audit is just one piece of your total store compliance to get that bonus spiff. Okay, keeping it going. Customer experience. That's the next section. This is worth 18 points. Were all shoppers served timely? Does the store staff appropriately without any shoppers leaving due to low staffing? So, that can be a tough one. If you're a store that only has one person working, your store gets busy, that could be an issue. So my advice to you is, if you have busy weekends, your Fridays, your Saturdays, your 1st, your 15th, make sure you're staffed appropriately. Those should not be one rep days, right? Fridays, Saturdays, 1st and 15th, those are days you should have multiple people staffing on hand. If you don't have multiple staffing on hand for those days, maybe have a conversation with your owners, and you can involve us as well, and we can see if it makes sense to double up staffing to help with that, because we don't ever want someone leaving your store because you're too busy for them to get a phone, right? Is the store adhering to the Boost accessory requirements? So are you purchasing from our approved vendors? No baggy accessories, no empty walls, no end-of-life accessories. Make sure you guys are compliant on the merch grid. Is the location selling only approved Boost products and services? So they're going to do an inspection of your store and make sure you guys are only selling, promoting, or otherwise endorsing wireless products offered by Boost. Things they're going to be looking for is money orders without an exception, ATM without an exception, toys or games, financing anything other than approved vendors. Those are what's going to lose your points, right? Are the employees in proper dress code as outlined in the Boost branded store standards? So make sure that you guys have your Boost gear on, a Boost shirt, a lanyard, or a proof shirt from a vendor like Motorola. Those are okay. If you need Boost gear and you don't have it, reach out to us at DCI. We got some extra shirts. We can hook you up. Do employees actively protect customers' proprietary information? So this one's good. This is one I've seen a lot of stores aiming for. They'll go in your trash here, right? So make sure that anything that you guys have as customer information is shredded or ripped up. But if they go in your trash and they pick up something and it has customers' proprietary information, a phone number, a PIN, anything like that, you will fail. A lot of stores miss this question. So check your counters and your POS stations. Make sure all information is secured. There is no CIP violations going on. Make sure you're actively shredding or securing documents with receipts. Lock your computer screens when you walk away from them. That's another one they might test you for. They might try to say, talk to your computer and then walk away, see if you're locking your screen. Depends how picky they want to be, right? Does the location of the minimum amount of devices in stock? So there are required devices. We definitely help you with that on DCI. We tell you what's required and we really push these orders to you, but they will be looking at your inventory, make sure you have minimum stock required. And then is your phone number listed correctly online as well? Moving on to merchant branding. This goes back to that merch grid. You guys follow the merch grid, you're going to be fine here. So they're going to go through the merch grid again and try to find any examples where you have anything old. So if you have anything old, throw it away. Nothing old out on your sales floor, only current merch. It was all outdated marketing messages removed. Do you check all that stuff down? Are all existing phone pedestals per panel in this location properly working? They're going to inspect for damage and functionality. Do your demos actually work, right? Are all devices on display according to the merch grid? So if the merch grid says the phone's out, you have it out there. Are there any devices displayed at point of sale showcase that shouldn't be there? The good thing to check, right? Make sure that your phones are in the right area. Are devices displayed with accurate pricing per the hot sheet? Check your price strips. Make sure you don't have any outdated prices on there. Make sure you have prices on there. Maybe some stores have phones on there, they don't have the price strips on there. Make sure you guys have the correct prices available for your phones and that they are accurate and not expired. Does the location adhere to the live demo requirements? We just kind of covered that. Is the location free from displaying unapproved signs and banners? Again, just Boost material should be on your sales floor. If present, is interior digital signage working and in good order? And then is our Boost mobile return policy flyer posted and customer facing in the store? It's a 3-point question. Make sure that you have that out according to the merch grid. All right, moving on to the employee experience and location requirements. So when it comes to that, they're going to be looking, can all employees present and log into Boost Central? Can they find the most commonly used links? So they'll come in there, they'll ask you, hey, can you log into Boost? Can you show me the device hot sheet? Can you show me, they'll ask you how to show them a couple things in the computer. They're seeing if your reps know where to find the basic Boost resources. Are employees knowledgeable on selling products? So do you know about the phones that you're selling? Was great. The great sales process utilized during the customer interactions. If you didn't win this interaction with the customer, were you properly greeted when you came into the store? Does the location adhere to security and employee support requirements? So this is make sure that you have adequate security for devices. Branded locations have to follow the requirements for all employees, provide a safe working environment for you guys. Does the location have old paint, the wall orange marketing present? Does the location receive the correct assets in the most recent pack out? Does the location have a working color printer? It doesn't have to be color, guys. It can be black and white or color. Does the location have a safe or location for safe storage of devices and deposits, right? So pretty basic stuff. It's just kind of a lot of stuff on there, but that's really important because you got to get above 80% on this, guys. And it's only one piece to your whole store's puzzle. So this is exactly what these guys are going to have. You have the exact questions, you have the exact points, you have the exact help documents, you know exactly the details they are looking for. Make sure you guys do this. Do your own sample audit at your own store. And if you don't score an 80, fix it and do another sample audit the next day. When it comes to Boost goals, the goal is 50 for branded stores, 5 tablets. If you're an AR door multi-carrier, goal is 10. BYOD goal is about 36%. Auto pay about 55%. And your blended Boost Protect, so that's your new and upgrade goal, is 68%. So you guys are aware these are what Boost goals are for every dealer across the country. If your store is beating these goals, raise that bar, set those goals a little bit higher. But that is it for this week's call, guys. It's important. It's financially impacting. So make sure that you guys are on top of your game on this. We'll be following up if there's any financial pieces missing because we got to get that in here. We have 2 weeks to get everything in. And I'll open up. Are there any questions at this time? No questions? All right, I'll give you 6 minutes back into your day. I thank you guys so much for selling Boost. Thank you for everything we do. We couldn't do it without you. You guys are the best. We love the front line. Thank you so much for selling booths. Thank you for what you do. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.